Hey everybody, John Jackson here. We have a fantastic live session for you with La Rioja Alta. I'll be speaking with the head winemaker, Julio Saenz.
Very happy to this time with you, with this testing. I'm very happy to show your. Thank you very much for inviting us.
Oh, it's certainly my pleasure. It's an honor to have you here, and we're very excited to learn more about your wines and to hear about your techniques. So we've got a lot to cover, I know. So why don't we go ahead and get started? If you could please start out by maybe letting us know how you first got into the wine business.
I started to work in this winery in 1996. In this moment, I was the control quality manager, and after that, I studied with the previous enologist, Mr. Jose Gallego. And in 2001, I started to work in another wineries of the group, Torre de Oña and Aster. Since 2005, I'm the head of the winemakers of the company. This is my normal job in this moment.
Excellent. And what is it that you do as head winemaker for La Rioja Alta?
Well, my normal job is the control of all of the process of vines, the viticulture, the winemaking process, the aging in barrel, the tasting of the wine, or something like this afternoon. So when the wines, the wine of the job of a winemaker.
Why don't we take a step back then, and could you please tell us more about La Rioja Alta, how the company started way back in the 1890s?
Okay, well, the La Rioja Alta was set up in this particular site. Now I am in the winery, the La Rioja Alta in Ebro. Ebro is just in the north of Spain, very close to the Bilbao, for example, just 2 hours by car. But the winery is located in the special site in Ebro, in a very popular now called the Barrio de la Estación, train station, the train station street. There are around another ancient wineries in Rioja, like Heredia, like Acune, like Bodegas Muga, Roda, Bilbainas. The winery was founded in 1890 by a group of 5 families. One of them, they are in the management of the company. Now we are 7th generation in the company. Our philosophy always was the same: make every year the best wine for our customer. This proposal, we control all of the process of the wines, the vine, the grapes, to even the market. Because for us, the most important thing is the quality of our wines. We must control the quality of the grapes, the quality of the wines, and the control the barrel too is very, very important. All of our wines that we produce came from our vineyards. We produce the 100% of our wines. Another thing here in La Rioja Alta, I say, all of our barrels, they are American barrels. We import the steak from USA, from Tennessee, Missouri, Kentucky, and Ohio. We dry 3 years in our facility, and after that, we made our barrels to begin the wines. Here in this company, we only produce red wine, very typical classic Rioja wines. We have another wineries in another part of Rioja and another part of Spain. Here in Rioja, we have another estate called Torre de Oña. We have a Finca Martello to taste this afternoon, this morning. Yes, 2014. Sorry. We bought this particular estate in 1995. Since this time, we are growing and planting new beans in these vines in this estate. We produce 2 different wines: Finca Martello, Finca San Martin, and another called Torre de Oña. So we have another winery in Ribera del Duero. Ribera del Duero could be another of the most important DO in Spain. We start in 1987. We start with the land. We planting the vines, and after 12 years, we building the winery. The first wine we released to the market was in 2002. The name is Aster. We have another brand in this particular winery called Finca Martello. Finca Lotero. Finca Lotero for us is the special terroir wines very typical of Ribera del Duero, very powerful, but with elegance and complexity. And the last winery we have is La Reserva. La Reserva is just in the corner of Spain, very close to the border with Portugal, near of the Atlantic Ocean. We produce the white wine, La Reserva. The variety is Albarino. Last 2 years ago, we started with a new project in this winery called Paso de Sebana. Paso de Sebana is a new wine. It's a blend of different typical Galician varieties of Loureiro, Caño Blanco, Traisadura, and Albarino. And this is our target in this moment. Make every year the best wine for our customers, for the people enjoy with our wines, and control every process and every waters of our winery.
Okay, excellent. Well, thanks very much for that overview. If we could step back a little bit, the founding in 1890 is actually commemorated in one of your wines, isn't it? The 890?
Okay, 890 was a special successful for us because 4 years ago, was one of the best wine for Wine Spectator, and for us have a bigger reputation for our winery because 890 is one of the most particular wines in our winery. It's very complicated for us, made every year this wine. We only produce 3 or 4 times every 10 years because we was looking for the best grapes, the best wine for this special wine. We don't produce every year. We don't produce the wine when the weather condition is very bad. And that you said, 890 is the name of the name came from the year of the winery was founded.
In 904 refers to 1904. What happened in 1904?
1904 is a particular notice for us because one of the founded family, the Aldanza family, they have their own winery they call Vineyard. In 1904, they decide to join the 2 wineries and they decide to create a new winery called Rioja Alta. To celebrate this particular event, we release a new brand called Gran Reserva 904. This is the reason of the name of this particular brand for us.
And we'll be discussing that wine in a little bit more detail, but here's the bottle for that one.
Yes.
That's also a very special wine.
Yes, 2011.
And a lot of people may not be as familiar with the Rioja area. It's really not just one area. There's 3 different regions, 3 different areas in Rioja. Could you explain those 3 different regions?
Okay, Rioja is a very particular land in the north of Spain. The Rioja star is they follow the river Ebro, and they start in the highlands of Rioja. And the name is La Rioja Alta, subarea. In this particular place, they are, in our opinion, the best vineyards for make this wine. All of the most important wineries in Rioja, they are located in this particular area. The weather is very typical of the Atlantic weather. We have a lot of rains. We have the winter is very hard and the summer is warm. And the land, they are typical, very calcareous, very clay soils, and very, very poor. This is the best place to grow the vine. Just in the middle of Rioja, we have the Rioja Alavesa. Rioja Alavesa is just in the corner between the Ebro River and the mountains called Sierra de Cantabria. In this particular site, the vines, they are very little than the rest of Rioja. The soil, they are very, very poor, and the quality of the grapes that we produce, our wines, they are amazing. And just the last part of Rioja is Rioja Oriental. In the previous year, the people know like Rioja Baja, and the big Mediterranean influence because the winter are not so hard like in Rioja Alta. The raining is less than this particular place of sub-area of Rioja, and the summer is very, very hot. In this side, we have our vineyard of Garnacha to produce Vineyard Alta. This is the difference between Rioja Alta, Rioja Oriental, and Rioja Alavesa.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, thank you for that explanation. What impact does the river, Ebro River, have on the climate in the vineyard?
Well, the river have a very important for the soils because they control the water, they control the conditions of the vine growing. If the river, without the river, we can produce vines in this particular site because the soil is very poor. It needs some water of this particular river to grow the vine. During long time, the soil of this vine, the influence of the river was amazing to produce the quality of the grapes of this particular area.
And so are some of your vineyards located very close to the river?
We have vines in different locations in Rioja. Some of them, they are very close to the river. Another part of our vines, they are in the highlands of Rioja, not close to the river. And in the case of the Garnacha, we produce so far of the river. But for example, we have our vines of Graciano. This particular vine, they are very close to the Ebro River.
Okay, so the Graciano does well close to the river.
Yeah, it's close to the river because some time ago we have our vineyard of Graciano in the highlands, and the ripeness of the grapes was very complicated. We decided remove the Graciano, and we planted with more hours of sun, more better weather condition to grow the Graciano.
And you refer to the elevation, the altitude. What impact does the altitude of the vineyard have on the grapes?
All of our wines in different places of Rioja, they are located more or less 450 meters above of sea level and higher. In the case of our vineyards for made Grande Reservas, the altitude is more or less 550 meters above of the sea level, and this is special because the ripes, the maturation of the grapes, they are slowly, and we need this particular thing to find the best grapes for our wines.
So it allows the grapes to get perfectly ripe and still maintain some acidity. They have a longer growing season.
For us, the acidity they are very important because we produce wines that they have a low aging capacity, and without a very good acidity, we can produce this kind of wine. The acidity is special for our wines, but no high acidity. We always speak about the balance between the acidity and the alcohol contents and the tannins. High acidity is not very good for us, but low acidity is the same question for us. The balance between all of the components of the wines, that is our target to understand better our wines.
And why don't we talk a little bit about Tempranillo? Tempranillo is the dominant grape in your Rioja wines. Could you tell us a little bit about the characteristics of Tempranillo?
We have in this moment in Rioja more than 500 hectares of vineyard. The most important variety is the Tempranillo. The Tempranillo is, in our opinion, the best variety for made Rioja wines. The elegance, the very good balance between the acidity, very good balance, and the alcohol content, the tannins. The tannins are very soft, but very elegant. And in our case, we are looking for wines that the aging capacity of the wine must be better and better every year. And the Tempranillo gives us the best characteristics for make this wine. The aroma is very special, very floral, very fruity. Remember a lot the red fruit. Remember a lot when you taste the younger wine of Tempranillo. Is remember a lot the licorice, a little bit spicy, and in our opinion, is the best component for our wines. The main variety for us is the Tempranillo, but we use another local varieties in Rioja like Garnacha. Garnacha is so important for us because the Vineyard Alta is a blend of these two varieties, Tempranillo and Garnacha. Garnacha is more powerful, It has more alcohol content, and the acidity is with a very good balance, and they improving the spicy character of Vineyard Alta. And another special variety is the Graciano. It's typical for made grand reservas, and in my opinion, is the best grape to combine with the Tempranillo for this kind of wine.
Why is it an advantage to combine that grape with Tempranillo? What's the benefit of the combination?
The benefit of the combination is the complexity, the elegance, the long aging capacity, the soft tannins. For us, is the best. In my opinion, is the best. One of the best variety on the world. I love when when you taste the Tempranillo wines, the elegance, the softness, the longer finish. I love this variety. It's soft, elegant, and complex, in my opinion.
Yeah, very well said. I completely agree. Why is the Tempranillo from Ribera del Duero, it tastes a little bit different? The wines are a little bit stronger, more intense. Could you explain the difference between the Tempranillo expression in each region?
Yeah, in the case of Ribera del Duero, it's stronger than in Rioja. The reason is the weather condition. The weather condition in Ribera del Duero, they are harder than in Rioja. We have in Ribera del Duero, the winter is very, very cold. The temperatures drop even above 0 grams degree. And in summer, the temperature is very, very high. And the result in the grape is the skin of the grapes. The skin of the Tempranillo is with more size than the case of the Tempranillo Rioja. It's harder than the Tempranillo Rioja. For example, you never find botrytis in Ribera del Duero because the hardness of the skin of the Tempranillo in Ribera del Duero. They have more tannics. They have more powerful, more structure. The Tempranillo in Ribera del Duero, and in my opinion, the aroma is lower than the case of Rioja. They are less complexity, less elegance, but a little bit more fruity character.
I see.
In our opinion.
Okay. And so the skins of the grapes get very thick. They're thicker skins and more tannins.
Very thin in the case of Rioja, with more size and more powerful in the case of Ribera del Duero.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I always thought it was very interesting how different the Tempranillo was, just in that little difference in the geographic areas.
Yes, it's the weather condition, it's the soil, it's the powerful of the Ribera del Duero. And another important thing is the altitude. In the case of Ribera del Duero, we are in 800 above of the sea level, and the weather condition is stronger than in the case of Rioja. For example, now we have a very complicated days with the weather because the temperature was very, very lower than another year, and the risks of gelée in French is more powerful in the case of Ribera del Duero and Rioja. Now, in this moment, we are very happy because in this moment, we having problems with the hail, and we are very, very happy.
Oh, so that you haven't had any weather problems?
No, in this moment, we passed the last days. We was waiting for a very complicated days, but the weather passed, and our vineyard was in very good condition. Now we must wait for the next 15 days because just in the end of April we have risks of a new hail, and we must be patient with the weather.
Yeah, there's always some concerns that are out there.
Yeah. Here, probably you will see a picture in Europe, in France and Italy, with bigger problems in the vineyard. But here in Spain, in this moment, we are very, very happy.
Yeah, certainly in France, they've had all the candles that are lit up in the vineyard to try to minimize damage from the frost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of times you'll hear about producers in La Rioja Alta in particular being referred to as traditional. When someone refers to a traditional producer, what does that mean?
I don't like it a lot, the word of tradition. I prefer the word classic. When the people tell me about of the traditional, I always say, okay, probably the Rioja Alta, the people understand like a traditional winery in Rioja. But for us, we are modern in this moment, or in the last 40 years ago. For us, the most important sentence is evolution, not revolution. I like more the expression of classic and elegant Rioja wines. When you speak about the tradition, you always the people understand that you never made nothing. You always say you always made the same. And now we are improving all of our vineyards. We are improving all of our facilities. For example, the people don't know that we have one of the more modern facilities in our wineries to make our kind of wine. We control the vineyards by satellite. We control we make source selection in table by optical machine. We selecting grape to grape to selecting the best grape. We control the process of barrel by a special plug to control the oxygen. And I don't like the word of tradition. I love the word of classic, the word of classic Rioja wines. And for us, the classic is when you make something better and better every year. And I always say the sentence that if probably we made the same wines than 20, 30 years ago, probably we must die. We must improve in our wine. We must give our customers the best wine for them.
So lots of technical innovation then over the years. Very modern techniques, very modern equipment. You mentioned the optical sorting to make sure that only the best fruit gets into the wine.
Okay, it's very important to use the innovation in our facility to make better and better wines. We control all of the process. We have, like I told you before, more than 500 hectares of vineyard. We have more than 50,000 barrels. We control every barrel every 6 months. We make a traditional, it's true, traditional racking, barrel to barrel, but it's not for tradition. It's because we think that is the best for our wines. Is the best control quality for our wines. Every 6 months, we control the quality of this particular barrel. And if the barrel is not a very good condition, we'll remove this barrel, and it's not for make our wines.
With being known as a classic producer, is it difficult to get young people excited about the wines?
Some people don't understand very well this kind of wine, but when they try this wine, they love it. Probably they prefer white wine. The younger people, I speak about the younger people, they prefer the white wine, the rosé, the claret here in Rioja, the not very complicated wines, the fruity wines, not so hard, not so high in alcohol content, not so high in tannics. In my opinion, this is the first moment, because when they love the wine, they prefer the elegance, the complexity, the longer finish. This is a way that the people they must walk in. No? When I was younger, they preferred the youngest wine, the red wines, the wine of the year, or the rosé or the white wine. Now I prefer the complexity, the elegant, enjoy with a glass of wine. But I think it's a way that the people they must work in.
You mentioned the Albarino, some of the white wines that you're making. Do you have any of the rosé?
No, in this moment. In our opinion, now it's important here in Rioja. I think Rioja, in the DO, they produce a very good rosé, but in this moment, La Rioja Alta don't produce a rosé. We only produce wine in Ribera del Duero, in Rías Baixas, sorry. In Galicia, not in this winery. And several years ago, we produced a white wine called Vineyard White, but we decided not produce more because the market was complicated. The people don't understand very well all these wines with a lot of barrels, a lot of wood. And we decided looking for a more youngest, more fruity wines, and in our opinion, Albarino could be one of the best white variety for making this kind of wine.
You mentioned some of the winery techniques that you use. What about in the vineyard? Do you use classic methods in the vineyard, or do you also use innovative techniques in the vineyard?
Well, all of in this kind of jobs, we are very traditional. All of our grapes must be picked by hand. We don't use the machine for for the harvest. All of them is by hand. Something special. Our workers, they are work with us more in some case more than 3 generations, and they control very well the process of the grapes. The job is very important for us because the first selection of our grapes came from the vineyard. After that, when the grapes came to the winery, to our facility, we have a very complicated machine to make the selection of the grapes. But for us, it's very important that the first selection must be in the vineyard. This machine that they are making. We start in 2015. The improving of the quality of the wines in this time is amazing. We have less production, but in our opinion, with more quality.
So 2015 will be the first vintage where you would get the benefits of that?
The first vintage was 2015. We start in La Rioja Alta, and now all of the wineries of the group, they have their machine, the sorting table line, to the optical selection of the grapes. We start in La Rioja Alta. We have 2 lines for the selection. We have another line in our winery in Ribera del Duero. We have another line in Torre de Oña. This year, we bought a new lines in Rías Baixas for our Alvarinho wines.
Okay. And so the impact of that is that you have lower yields or lower volumes, but that the quality will be higher.
Yes, our selection of the grapes is very hard because we think that in the next time the quality of our wines will be one of the most important in Spain or on the world. And we must reduce the volume, we must reduce the yield of the production, but we must improve in the quality. And now the result, 5 years later, the result is amazing. Viñalberti is our entry level in La Rioja Alta. The first vintage that we released with this special machine was 2015, and successful in the market, the successful for the journalists is amazing, and this is we are very happy. Now we release the next wine that we release to the market will be Vineyard 2015. The result is amazing.
So definitely something for people to watch out for then, the quality going higher, beginning with the 15 vintage.
Yes. In 2015, we improving the sorting table line. 2016, we made another thing. We introduced a new press in the case of Torre de Oña for the control of the wines. We are improving every year. Every year there's something different.
What about the vineyards? Do you use organic methods? I understand for some of the vineyards you do.
Now we are working with 15 hectares of ecological vineyards, but not with the label of ecological. It's just for a study the result, the impact of the ecological method in our grapes. But we don't produce ecological or biodynamic wines in this moment.
Right.
But
so you have some vineyards that you're using those methods on, but you're not certified organic for that.
No, in this moment.
Yeah.
We control a lot of the use of chemical products. For example, last year we start with a new project to reduce the use of the chemical product in our vineyard, because we think that we must control the land, we must control the water, we must control the air for the next generation. We are working very hard in reduce the use of the chemical product in our vineyard, the chemical products in the wines, in all of the process of the wine.
Well, good. Well, shall we start tasting?
Okay, we can start with the tasting.
With this one?
Yes, Finca Martello, 2014. This is the second vintage of Finca Martello. And the history of this wine is amazing, because I tell you before, in 1995, we bought a singular estate called Torre de Oña. We have 48 hectares of vineyard. The main variety is the Tempranillo, but we have another local variety, typical varieties of Rioja. And when we bought the winery, we followed with the wines that the previous producers they made. We made a wine called Torre de Oña. But in 2005, we start to study the soils of the vineyard, and we decide separate the wines in the different kind of soils. We separate the soils in 3 different kinds of soils. And we make different wines. One of these was Finca Martello. Finca Martello is a single plot, only 7 hectares, with a special characteristics. The soil is very, very poor, a lot of calcareous soil. The vine is probably one of the oldest in our state, and they have a north-south orientation. And the light of the sun, the winter is amazing to the ripe of the grapes. Another special thing in this particular site is we have the blend of all of varieties in the same plot. When we make the alcoholic fermentation, we make all of the varieties together. This wine, Finca Martello, is 95% of Tempranillo, and the rest, 5%, is another varieties. We have Mazuelo or Carignan, we have a little bit white grapes called Viura, we have a little bit Graciano, and we have a little bit Garnacha. The harvest is by hand. We pick the grapes in little box, 20 kilograms. The grapes go to the winery in refrigerated trucks. We maintain the grapes about 1 day in a very low temperature, and after the sorting table line, we maintain the skin with the mold about 9 or 10 years to improving the color, to improving the fruity character of the wine. The alcoholic fermentation is in steel vats. And after that, we make malolactic fermentation in French and American oak. After the malolactic fermentation, we age in American barrels, 75% and 25% French barrels in 24 months. And we make manual racking every 6 months. The result is this wine.
And this is a Reserva?
This is Reserva.
And you mentioned the blend of grapes. Is that what people refer to as a field blend? Do those all grow amongst each other in that single plot that you described?
All of the varieties, they are blending in the vineyard.
Yes.
It's complicated to separate the grapes to make the different harvests. As we decided, no, all of the grapes together, because it was easy for us to make the harvest. But the result was amazing. Special character of Finca Martello was incredible. More fruity, better acidity, better structure, better tannics, and more complexity. This is only what the reason. Easy for us.
Yeah, very interesting too that there's the white grape, the Viura, in there as well.
Yeah, because it was typical in this particular site of Rioja. The ancient viticultures, they planted Viura because they say they improving the clean, the bright of the wine. Probably you have less color, but you have better color. And we decide maintain this particular variety in this wine.
Yeah. So that would be a little bit like what they do in the northern Rhone region of France with the Viognier. They have a little bit of Viognier with their Syrah.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. Okay.
The use of the French oak, in addition to the American oak, is a little bit different for this wine. What impact does the French oak have on this wine?
Okay, the French oak in our wines improving the structure of the wine, and they maintain the fruity character of the wine. When we use only American oak in our wines, probably the tannins, they are better, soft with more elegance, not so hard. But in the American wood impact a lot of in the wine, and you lose the fruity character. We are looking in this kind of wine in Finca Martello, something fruity, something very freshness, something special, something that you remember the special save of our winery, the special taste of Rioja Alavesa. And the Rioja Alavesa wines is a lot of fruity, a lot of spicy, a lot of no complexity, but the freshness, the fruity character in the oldest wine is incredible. Yeah, and we was looking for this kind of character of this kind of wine for in Finca Martello.
Yeah. And so this would be an excellent choice for someone who wants to purchase a wine and drink it when it's young, so they can appreciate the fruity characteristics.
Because all of the people love the fruity character of the wine, the younger people, for example. And the fruity wine is very easy to combine with the fish, with the meal, with the rice, with all. It's very easy, and all of the people love the fruity character of the wine. But in our case, we are looking something fruity, but something with a little bit complexity, a little bit elegance, something that you remember Reserva wines. In the case in Spain, in our market, the young people love this kind of wine because they find the two different things in the wine. The spicy character of the American or wood and the fruity character of the Rioja Alta. And for us, it's very, very important. The sommelier, for them, there are a lot of sommeliers that they like this kind of wine because, okay, it's easy to combine. You can start the dinner, you can start the lunch with this wine, and all of the people love this wine.
Yes. Yeah, it would be one that easy for a lot of people to like, and they could all agree on it.
Yeah.
Is this wine available worldwide then?
Yeah. Yes, the people love this kind of wine with lunch or of kind of meal. Very easy to combine.
So probably primarily with meat for dinner, it would be an excellent pairing.
Yep, this is the wine of my lunch this morning.
Oh, is that right? Yeah,
that's
an excellent choice.
When the people came to my home, I always open a bottle of Finca Martello because all of the people love this kind of wine. The woman, the man, the younger people, the older people, they are very, very happy. It's easy to drink, easy to combine. You can start speaking about something, eating, for example, something like a jam or cheese, and you can enjoy with this kind of wine.
Yeah. No, and it is still very elegant, but just a little bit more fruit forward than the wines we'll be coming to next. Well, should we shift gears next and go to the 2014 Gran Reserva? I know we have two Gran Reservas.
Vineyard Gran Reserva 2014. 2014 was a very special year in Rioja because the summer was very, very hot. But in the highlands of Rioja, in La Rioja Alta, we happened something special. Just in the end of September, we start the harvest. We have a short rain days, and it was amazing for the mature of the grapes. And the grapes ripes with a better balance. We need to make Gran Reservas something special in our lands, in our vineyards, that we need in the day. Not so high temperatures, but the light of the sun. But when at night we need that the temperature drop a lot because the maduration, the ripe of the grapes, they happen with better balance. Viñarana 2040, we produce Viñaranas in long time. In the previous year, it was like a Reserva. In several years, when we made a vertical testing of Viñarana, we found that special vintage Viñarana, they was like a Gran Reserva. Not all, but some of them was like a Gran Reserva. For example, 1996 or 2001 or 2005. And we decided improving the aging capacity of the wine, changing the variety and the blend of the wine. We changed the previous Viñarana. The blend was 95% of Tempranillo, 5% of Mazuelo, and we decided to change the Mazuelo by Graciano. Graciano, in our opinion, is one of the best variety to blend with the Tempranillo to make Gran Reservas because the Graciano improving the color, improving the flower aromas of the wines, and improving the aging capacity of the wine because the acidity of the Graciano is highest than the Tempranillo. We was looking for a special land to make Gran Reserva Viñarana, and we found highlands in our vineyards, special highlands in special soils for make this wine. And we don't produce, and now we produce less bottles than when we made Viñarana Reserva with another blend, Tempranillo and Mazuelo. But the quality, in our opinion, is better because we was looking for something for the young people, not for the young people, for the new consumers. Like you told me before, some of our customers don't understand well what is a Gran Reserva, what is the Gran Reserva of La Rioja Alta, and probably when they taste 904 or 880, they can find something, a lot of evolution, a lot of tired, a lot of old, and we decide, okay, this new consumer, they love the young wines, the white wines, the fruity wines. They are looking for something more special, more complex. And probably Viñarana could be one of these kind of wine. Viñarana 2040 is easy to drink, a little bit fruity, very good freshness, very good acidity, but something spicy. Remember a lot of the balsamic aromas of the American wood, but easy to drink. And they find something fruity and something balsamic and something spicy, something elegant. And they, in our opinion, could be one of the first step to understand what is a Gran Reserva.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, the first wine we had was a Reserva. This is a Gran Reserva. Could you explain the difference between the two?
It's because we reduce a lot of the yield of the producer of the yield of the bottles. Now we produce less than the half of our production a normal year of Viñarana. Another special thing is we don't produce Viñarana Gran Reserva every year. We produce only in the years that the quality of the grapes, they are very, very good. For example, we don't produce Viñarana Grande Reserva in 2013. We haven't, for example, Viñarana 2017, because the quality is not so good. But reduce the volume, but the quality improving. And in our opinion, is Gran Reserva because we are improving the aging capacity of the wine. Now it's fantastic to drink. But if you maintain this bottle in your home during 5-10 years, you can try this wine, and probably I hope the wine could be better and better and better. And for us, this is a Gran Reserva. It's not just to drink. You can drink now, but you can enjoy during long time. And this is the reason, because change the label of Reserva to Gran Reserva.
Yeah. And one of the key developments was the fact that you replaced the Mazuela with the Graciano. That helped a lot as well recently.
Yeah, one of the reason, because we are looking for the improving the aging capacity of the wine, is change the Mazuelo for the Graciano. Mazuelo is very good variety, but it's very complicated to grow. Graciano is complicated, but more elegant when you blend with the Tempranillo. They maintain long time the color, and this is important for the Grand Reservas. For example, I don't like it, the Graciano when it's younger, because it's so hard, acidity is very, very high. The aroma is intensive, but it's not like a Tempranillo. When you blend with the Tempranillo, you put in American barrels during long time, the result is amazing. Both, they are growing.
Excellent. Well, we certainly want to talk about the 904.
The 904?
Yes.
Well, 904, the name of the brand, like I tell you before, is the special event that happened in our winery, the joint of two different wineries, the Vineyard winery and Gran Reserva, La Rioja Alta. Well, 904 is a special wine, but probably one of the most recognized Gran Reservas in Spain, with A90 on the world. Well, this is special because we only produce 5 times in 10 years. We need a special condition in our vineyards. We need a special weather condition in our vineyards, and we need something special. The high temperature in the September and the lower temperature at night. This is a blend of 90% of Tempranillo and 10% of Graciano, and we aging 4 years in American barrels. Manual racking every 6 months. And you must understand that it's not easy for all of the wine. It's very complicated that the wines we can maintain the wines 4 years in barrels. You need something special. You need something with high quality. And we don't produce the same similar bottles every year that we release. Depend of the quality. Not only depend the quality of the grapes, depend of the quality of the wine, depend the quality of the process of the aging. And for example, if the aging process is not very good or the quality drop, we don't release the wine. It is very complicated, the decision. But we are looking for something better and better every year that we release the wine. Now we have the 2011 vintage. It was one of the best vintages in Spain. The vintage is 2011 was with an Atlantic character, very important. And when you taste the wine, you taste the freshness, the elegance, the complexity, the bouquet of the wine. When I opened the bottle just 1 hour before, The first sensation was like something a little bit close, something a little bit woody. But after 10 minutes, the aromas is incredible. I remember a lot the tobacco moss, remember a lot the licorice, remember the vanilla, remember a lot of the jam, the marmalade.
I get a lot of the, even the balsamic you mentioned before, and a lot of spicy character, a little bit of, I guess, tobacco, a little bit of a greenish, spicy note.
Yeah. But if you maintain the wine during 1 hour, you smell another thing, very complex, more elegant. When you put the wine in the mouth, it's very soft, the tannins is very, very velvety, the finish is longer. I speak with you, and my sensation is I maintain the wine in my mouth, because it's very, very elegant.
It is, yeah. Very long finish, complex finish. It lingers with you for a very, very long time.
I never decanted our Grand Reservas because you never find sediments in your bottles, because the sediments will remove in the barrels. This is another reason, because we maintain the wine long time in the barrels, because the sediments go to the barrels. And when we bottle the wine, probably the wine is cleaner, and you don't need the decanter the wines. I prefer you open the bottle just 10 minutes before you try, and after that you put some wine in your bottle and you move your glass, and you can find different aromas of the wine.
Yes. Yeah. You mentioned the racking. For those who don't know what racking is, could you describe what the racking process is and how that impacts the wine and eliminates the sediment?
Well, this is the tradition in our winery. And the reason because we maintain this traditional method of racking is because it is our best control quality. When you put the younger wine in the barrel, the wine is dirty, and it by natural gravity they sediment the tartaric crystal, the rest of the grapes, the rest of the yeast, all of them. And when we make the manual racket, we use the light of the candle to separate the sediment of the clean wine. Every 6 months, we make this process with every barrel. We have in this moment more than 30,000 barrels. And we make this process with all of our barrels. In the first moment, the first racking, the sediment is higher. But for example, in the case of 904, when we made the 8 times the racking, the sediment is very, very little. And we don't need filter the wine to put the wine in the bottle. And this is the reason we haven't sediment in our bottles of Grand Reserva.
And so that's because of the extended aging that you do at the winery, and you do the racking and you remove that before it comes to market. Where in contrast, you could have producers in other places where they will bottle their wines and sell them after 2 years. And so those wines would gain sediment in the bottle, but yours have already gone through that process at the winery before they were released.
Yeah. We are the only winery in Spain that we made this kind of racking with our barrels, with all of the barrels. Even in Ribera del Duero, we made the similar process, even in Torre de Oña. We export the very good thing of La Rioja Alta to the rest of our wineries.
And so that's one of the classic techniques you mentioned that you preserve because it's a good thing to do.
It's not tradition, it's classic. It's innovation for us because we are looking for maintain the quality of the wine. It's just not only tradition. We can use machine to make this process, but the result is worse than in the case of this kind of racking. The wines suffer less than the case of we use a machine to make the racking.
So you mentioned the 890 and the 904 and some of the high quality fruit that goes into those wines. Do you have certain plots that you use for those on the years that you produce them, or do you just kind of wait and see how they develop and make a decision later?
No, we have our wines every year in our month. We control which is the best land to make Grand Reservas in 90 or 904. Normally, we use the same plot for make this kind of wine. But for example, the quality of the water condition is not very good for Gran Reservas. We use these grapes to make Vineyard Verde. We don't use to make or Viñarana or Viñardanza. These grapes always go to Vineyard Verde.
I see. Okay.
The people say that when we don't produce Gran Reservas, the quality of Vineyard Verde are better and better.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's definitely vintage to look out for then. If you don't have the Gran Reservas, then you should definitely load up on those.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite vintages for La Rioja Alta the last 10 or 15 years? 2010 was very good, right? 2010 was recent, but very good.
Yes. 2001, I love 1995, love 2005 and 2015.
2015? Okay.
Yes.
So after 2010, would 2015 probably be the next outstanding vintage?
In my opinion, yes. Could be 2015 could be one of our best vintage for all of our wine. Now in the next month we release Viñardanza 2015, and we are testing a lot of bottle as we must ensure that the quality of the grapes, the wine is good, and the result is amazing. We love when we taste this one.
And that's going to be the Gran Reserva 2015 then?
Yes. It could be the next Gran Reserva 904. We have it 2012, 15 and 14. The next could be 2015.
When do you decide whether or not you'll make an 890 or not? Have you made that decision yet for 2015, or do you do that closer to the time?
Well, the last decision is just before we release. If the quality of the wine is not good, we decide no release. But in all of the process, since the grapes to just before of the bottling, if the quality is not so high or better than the previous vintage, we decide. But it's my decision. It's a technical decision. It's the winemaker decision. It's not commercial, because we are looking for the best quality for the best quality for 904.
And so the wines that we've been drinking today are all the current releases, but when will the 2015 Viña Arana Gran Reserva come out? You said a few months?
Yes, we sell the 2015 of Viña Arana just in the end of this year.
I see, okay. So towards the end, maybe around the holidays?
The end of just of the Christmas days of 2022, sorry.
Okay. Okay, excellent. So that's a good one to look forward to then. And we talked about some food pairings for the Finca Martello. What are some of your favorite food pairings with the Gran Reservas that we've been tasting?
Which is the best pairing with the Gran Reserva? I love this wine just when you have finished the dinner and you have your glass with in your hand just before to go to the bed. It's just
by itself. Just by itself.
Nothing better. Just go to the bed.
Yeah, no, I agree. I frequently recommend that people taste the wines that they enjoy the most, the best quality wines, just by themselves, and not worry about meals or food pairings with them. Just enjoy them on their own.
Yeah.
You can always appreciate the wine and focus more when you're not distracted.
Yeah. Thank you.
Great. Well, thanks so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to speak with you.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope my English, you understand me. I think
absolutely. No, I understand you very well. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us. Thank you. I hope you enjoy with our wine and the people enjoy with our wine. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. No, they're excellent wines. I highly recommend them. They're outstanding values, excellent quality for the price.
Okay. Cheaper, in my opinion. Cheers.
Salud.
So good.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Bye-bye.